Noah Seifert, and this is basically Julius Caesar. Kind of. Don't quote me on it, but it is. First and foremost, the death of Julius Caesar is a tragedy in itself, but the play is only based on historical events. It's not a history. So with that being said, let's get it, you know what I'm saying? So it starts off with two tribunes of the plebs walking around Rome, as they do in Rome, and they walk past these common people that are like celebrating the victory that Caesar had on Pompey's two sons. And Pompey was his nemesis, if you allow me, political rival, nemesis, like the Joker to Batman. You feel me? Nemesis. So Caesar kills his sons. Pompey's already dead, as we all know from history. And so they're celebrating Caesar. And these two tribunes of the plebs are like, yo bro, like, how you gonna switch up on Pompey like that? And they're like, hey bro, how about you go f yourself, we'll do what we want. And they're like, alright, well f you and your celebration. So the tribunes try to like stomp out the celebration, and the common people are kind of like, yeah, go f yourself, like we told you, like Caesar, go Julius Caesar. So that happens, and at the same time, Julius Caesar is planning his return, his victory parade through Rome after this great military victory, and so he's talking to this soothsayer, whatever the f that is, and he's like, hey, by the way, beware of the Ides of March. And Julius Caesar is like, f you for one, I don't know what the f you are, who the f you think you are, but I'm Julius Caesar and I do what I want. And the soothsayer's like, oh, okay. And so, back in Rome, whatever. So there's some conspirators on the other side of the political spectrum, Cassius and Brutus. And Cassius is talking to Brutus, who is actually a friend of Caesar's, and is like, hey, Caesar is, you know, like, abusing his power, and we need to kill him. And Brutus is like, no, I don't know about that. And then they convince him, kind of, and so Bruce is like tentatively on board, and then this guy runs in, and he's like, hey, by the way, Mark Antony tried giving Caesar the crown of Rome 3 times, and Caesar said no. And Caesar said no because he wanted the crowd to cheer him into it, but the crowd was actually cheering that he didn't take it, which really pissed Julius Caesar off because he wants the crown of Rome, but the people don't want him to have the crown of Rome. So Julius is pissed, and then, you know, Brutus is like, oh, you know what, he is trying to abuse his power, we need to get this bitch. That's actually that's a historic, he said, we need to get this bitch. So we go on, and like, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the Ides of March, and so we get to the eve of the Ides of March. So we're sitting there, and the conspirators come in for a gaggle, a meeting. They're all there with fake notes from the people of Rome that said that they want Julius Caesar to be killed. And so they're fake, they're forged, and they come and they show Brutus, and Brutus is like, oh, well, the people want it, then like we have to. He's like, this is for the betterment of Rome. And so they all agree they're gonna kill Julius Caesar the next day in the Senate House. So the Ides of March is there. We're here. Julius Caesar is about to go to the Senate House, and then his wife is like, Julius, what about what the soothsayer said? You're gonna die. And he was like, how about you go f yourself? You have an ugly name and you're fat as shit, so I'm gonna go to the Senate House. And so he goes to the Senate House. So he's walking in, and the conspirators come up with this fake petition legislation that they know he was going to say no to. And Caesar, of course, is like, get that fuck out of my face, that's dumb as shit. After that, they all come in and kill him, and they stab him in the back, and everyone's going through, you know, we had the whole lineup, they're kind of like, oh, me next, me next. They're pushing, shoving in line, like they're trying to get some Szechuan sauce from McDonald's, and they're like, I don't know, like, me next, please, God. Anyway, it gets to the end, and Brutus goes and stabs him in the back, and Julius Caesar, of course, turns around and says the famous "Et tu, Brute," which is, and you, Brutus, you know, being like, you were my friend, how could you betray me? A very popular line. So, Julius Caesar, he's like a dead, limp body on the ground, like a rag doll, essentially. And so they go and they bring him out to the public forum, and they're like trying to explain themselves to the people why they just randomly killed Julius Caesar. and so like they're all talking, and Brutus is like, it's for the betterment of the people of Rome, and they're kind of like, I don't know. And Mark Antony comes up and says his very famous line, but before his like very sly, awesome speech, and he's like, you know, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him, and essentially like reminding all the people all the things that Julius Caesar did for him, because he was a progressive. He didn't even like it. He was for the people, for the poor, everything like that. And so he like, Mark Antony's like turning that crowd around. They're like jumping up and down, like Caesar, Caesar, Caesar. Kind of like that. You know, they're getting pizzas hot and ready 5 minutes. So they're coming out here, and like Mark Antony's just reminding, like reading the will. They're like, everyone's gonna get money from Caesar, and like his family wasn't gonna keep it. And they're like, why the did anyone even kill him? And so like the conspirators are looking like shaky, and they're like, and so they leave. And so it's very clear to Cassius and to Brutus that they're going to have to fight Mark Antony and Octavius. Octavius, by the way, is Julius Caesar's adopted son, who will come on to be Augustus Caesar, but for now he's still Octavius. And so them and Lepidus, they're like a triumvirate in Rome, and they're about to have to battle Cassius and Brutus. So they go, and Cassius and Brutus knew they were gonna die. This is kind of like, they had to. Like, you can't be a little bitch, you know what I'm saying? So like, you have to go and fight. And so they go, and Cassius thinks that his best friend, like tendinitis, Titties is dead, but he's not. But Cassius killed himself because he thought Titties was dead, and then Titius sees Cassius' body and is like, whoa, Cassius is dead, I need to kill myself. And so they're both dead on the first day, and then Brutus is like, well, and the next day, Brutus is losing the battle, and then he kills himself. So Mark Antony and Octavius are left, and Mark Antony actually honors Brutus like a tribute, because calling him the most noble Roman of them all, because Brutus actually thought he was helping the people, but he was just conned and he didn't know. So that's how that ends, and it also ends with showing a slight hint of the friction between Mark Antony and Octavius, which actually is later explained in Shakespeare's play Antony and Cleopatra. And that's Julius Caesar. Sentius Populusque Romanus.